All right, guys, how's it going? East Banglers out here. Today we are talking specifically about one thing and one thing only, and that is the California Delta. Now, this is going to be a video where we focus specifically on the top 5 baits and lures you want to fish. If you're in the California Delta or you're fishing the California Delta, sometime soon you live in the area, we're going to talk about not only the 5 best baits to have tied on, but pretty much we're going to get into detail later on and talk about color, you know, gear ratio, all the little subtle things. But let's get started. You're on the California Delta. It doesn't matter where you're at. Number one thing you should have out there is a frog. Now, one of the reasons I say frog is number one is you can fish a frog just as well from the bank as you can on the boat or in a kayak or anything. So generally, when you got a frog tied on, not only do you have that big fish potential, you get a lot of bites, you get a lot of blowups. It's a very productive lure and it's very consistent. Number two is going to be, some type of a creature bait. The old school was the old beaver, and that was Reaction Innovations, and then some other companies copied, and other companies copied them, and they all made slight, subtle changes to their baits. And so now you've got like the missile D bombs and, some of the, what is it, the Havocs, Pit Boss, and all kinds of different versions of this particular creature bait, beaver style creature bait, something that's slender and narrow that you can punch and flip into those mats and into that thick cover. And you're gonna want basically to stick with darker colors, but we'll get to colors in a minute. So flipping and punching is going to be your second most productive way to catch bass in the Delta. The third way is going to be fishing a chatterbait. Some people don't like the chatter that much. They like to just go straight with the swim jig. But the chatterbait displaces a lot of water. It makes noise, creates reactions. It's proven, but I like it because it really cuts through a lot of those weeds better. And it kind of has a way where if you're fishing it on a rod that's a bit stiffer, you can kind of push and pop that chatterbait out of those out of some of that structure, and a lot of times that's when you'll get a reaction bite. So yeah, I mean, that's definitely one of those lures where you're going to be able to work it a variety of different ways. But the first way is, just cast it and retrieve it, and start with different cadences. But we're going to talk a little bit about that in a minute. The fourth bait that you want to have tied on, so you got your frog, you got your creature bait that you're flipping or punching, Texas rigging, you've got your chatterbait. The next thing you're going to have is a swim bait. It's kind of hard to beat a swim bait in the California Delta. A lot of ways to rig it, but generally you want to be able to have it rigged in a way where you can swim it, flip it, punch it, do all the same things, right, that are very effective, and use the swim bait to get it done. Generally, a 4-inch swim bait is going to be really good for numbers, and those 5 and 6-inch swim baits are going to get you the better fish, but talk about that later. Number 5, we're going to get into last one, top water. Variety of different ways to do it. You can do the old walk the dog, you can do S-waver, you can do poppers, you can do crazy crawlers or pompadours or different types of top waters. But in my opinion, when it comes down to it, when it really comes down to it, it's really hard to beat a Pop Max. It's able to spit a lot of water, draw a lot of attention. It's really easy to cast. you're able to cast it in the strike zone, work it really fast and effective, and then if you want, burn it back in. And it just seems like, well, let's just say you're going for that big fish, and it's only going to take one mistake in your particular cadence or your retrieve for that fish to say, oh no, I'm not going to take your bait. Well, basically, you know, it just seems like the Pop Max, it's hard to fish it wrong, and it gets bit. It gets bit by big fish. So those are the 5 baits, and we're going to talk really quick about some colors and things of that nature, techniques, but probably going to do that in a video right after this. I just need you guys to give me kind of like a heads up. Did you like the video? Do you want more on the Delta? If you do, I can make a video where we talk about all the colors and all the techniques and all the gear ratios, the line, the rods, and all the different things you might want to consider. But stay tuned. Go ahead and give me some comments. Give me some ideas on what you think. All right, stay tuned for more. Thanks, guys.